Hello, and thank you for joining us on the show Conversations. My name is Elizabeth Abai. Are you as happy as I am? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes to all of us because when a new baby comes, there is always this beautiful joy in a home. Nigeria has a new baby in the form of a new government, and a lot of expectations are, on the table waiting for fulfillment. We are all happy because we believe that we will get there. But to get there, it is not just the job of the government alone, it is you and I. Government of democracy simply means government of a people, by the people, for the people. That means all of us is a collective effort. Nigeria is diverse in different ways, cultures inclusive, people inclusive. But then in our diversity comes our strength to be able to build this great nation to where we are taking it to or where we want it to be. We need to be emotionally stable. Our focus is emotional intelligence as we join hands together to form that togetherness we desire. The show is conversation. I already told you. My name is Elizabeth, and I keep saying things on the plural form. That's because I'm not alone. Let's start with the lady who decided to run away for 2 weeks, but luckily she's back. How was your immigration?
My inauguration was fantastic. I stayed at home, I watched it, and it was good.
Okay, and I'm sure they're wondering what's her name.
My name is Joe Banachi. It's good to be back after being out for 2 weeks.
Okay, and
Well, my name is Deva. I'm at your mom, and it's always a delight to be here.
okay,
My name is Maimuna Omi Abdullah, aka Coach Didi. Always happy to be here.
Coach Didi, I was with your group, even though I refused to show in front of camera not too long ago. Something you did. We're going to bring it up, but I want to talk a little bit about it. I like that while Nigeria was preparing for inauguration at the Eagle Square, you were busy, mentally getting women prepared to build a nation. And for me, it leaves a lot to be admired, because for us to, a lot of people believe that school is when you go to school and come back. What's your take on that?
For me, I think it boils down to your home. Boils down to your home, what you learn. Even though we have so much we learn from school, but basically you're schooled at home. Your parents school you first, and most of the time it is what you learn from your home that is what you give out. Because I always tell people that what you don't have, you can't give.
Exactly, because it's important for parents to, imbibe the spirit of oneness within
Yes.
their children, oneness within the society, the immediate community. And I'm still wondering, Devon, I know that you have never stopped schooling. Do you, at any point, Devon has done a whole lot when it comes to schooling. Now she's schooling herself on being the expert in the social media, space. With all her YouTube posting and quite regular every week, she's disturbing us with her posting, and then we're enjoying it anyway. So, what do you think? Is there any time we stop educating ourselves? Let me not use the word education. Schooling.
If you're somebody who is genuinely interested in being a better version of yourself each day you wake up, then you can't stop learning new things and possibly unlearning things that you knew before. There are even things that are good that you've learned before that may not be relevant for you now. There are things that you thought were the right thing to do, that with the benefit of further knowledge, further education, you come to realize that although this is not a bad thing, it's not the best fit for me.
True.
Maybe it would work better for somebody else, and so on. So I think, first of all, it is critical. I'm the kind of person who likes to be better today than I was yesterday. And that goes beyond learning, acquiring new knowledge, to improving the nature of the kind of person I am. The way I connect with people around me, the way I relate with them, things that used to rile me up before, maybe with the benefit of maturity, I try so hard not to allow those things to get under my skin nowadays.
True.
I can literally look at something going wrong and walk away from it. Whereas maybe 10 years back, there would be need for me to air my view and let you know and all of this.
Airing the view could be also physical.
Well, the thing is, I never used to go physical, but I'd be quick to let you know my mind, without insults. I don't believe in abuse and verbal abuse, no, but no, this is unacceptable to me. I'm not having it. It's my way or the highway.
Okay, so it's important that we also understand that learning does not begin and end inside classroom, and of course, as you age, you also need to learn, otherwise you begin to die. And that's exactly what Coach Didi and her team did within the weekends. That's 27 precisely. I was there and I tried to learn a bit. I also joined in the oath taking, but let's see it together.
Life is said to be a school on its own, giving no age limits or gender to its students, but making even more deliberate and intentional efforts to learn and improve oneself holds greater fulfillment. Little wonder some women intentionally meet up to build themselves better. At the Meethak Hotel in Jabi recently, under the coaching watch of Maimuna Abdullahi, better known as Coach Didi, some women held such gathering under the umbrella of the Woman with a Plan.
What is about you planning to create a life to be winners? So simple like that. A woman with a plan is a woman who's intentional about her life. It's that simple. There's nothing to it.
The workshop took the women on a reversed life journey, clearly recognizing the place of nature and nurture in one's upbringing.
Your lifestyle may be different from somebody who was born and raised in Lagos, or somebody who was born and raised in a village. That's why upbringing is key.
I'm also from a divorced home. Yeah, I have abandonment issues. When my parents got divorced, my father left me. If I divorced my mother, and all this something together. So I didn't understand that for a very long time. And I grew up without the father figure at home. Now, at first, it was okay because I didn't even know any better. Until I went to secondary school. And then I remember this day. I was just sitting with my friends and somebody said, "You, where's your mother?" And I was startled because why? She said, "Because you always see my mother, my sisters, my brothers, my uncle, my auntie, my dad. You never mention my father. Where is your father?"
The women were given a platform by the life coach and motivational speaker to think, feel, and act better in order to boost one's mental health and well-being. The female participants were open-minded and engaged in all exercises. At the end, they all took affirmations to own and direct their lives with a plan.
Moving from where I am right now to where I need to be, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. I will commit to my growth.
It was indeed a relaxed yet intense learning platform. The women were definitely glad to partake.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International. your window to the world.
I may not be a foodie, but I like it when I have to go to school. There's a lot of food on the table.
It makes things better.
It makes sense, right?
It's learning and eating at the same time.
It makes life very easy. Now, I want to, you were there with the ladies and did a lot of job, but I want to find out, at the end of the day, what's the reaction? Because I noticed they all said they needed to be in charge of their lives, and in charge of their life around the area of the economy, their ability to communicate, their emotions, very importantly, their emotions. Do you do a follow-up to ensure that these women, keep to their words?
Yeah. The workshop actually comes with a full accountability coaching. So it's not just about coming there and sitting there and affirming and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Because most people do that. You go for a training and you have an aha moment. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then immediately you walk out the door, it all, poof, it's gone. So we need accountability. And that's what coaching is all about. So when you make a decision to set a goal, I'm going to do this different, then I'm with you for at least 4 weeks to help you. What have you done? What do you need to do? Then give me a time and a date. You must give me a time and a date you need to do something. And then I will follow up on you and ask you, have you done it? So it goes like that for 4 weeks, and after that, you find a way to work on yourself, or you actually
can still come back to you for help. All right. Do you think that women have enough space? We keep talking about 35% affirmative action, and some are actually saying 50% now. Do you think we have enough space, emotionally speaking, to be independent?
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria especially?
No, we don't. Even the 35%, have we been given? We've not been given. The problem in Nigeria is that men look at us like competition. It's not about competition. Because there's sometimes you see some husbands telling you that you're supposed to be behind them. You're supposed to be, you're together, beside each other. You work together. There are many women now who are emotionally, financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
Their husbands look at them like competition. So if you come out from your home and that's the way they feel about you, when you get into, I know so many offices in Nigeria, they're supposed to give the women positions that are due to them, but they're not giving positions that are due to them because they're women and because of religion. So now that we have a new government, I want the Women Affairs Minister or the women that are in charge to take it up. It's not about 35. How many senators do we have? The country does not even make, Nigeria is not, you cannot survive, even if you want to run for office. When things are due to you, the next thing they say, oh, she's a woman. Everybody is bringing down the woman.
When people tell me, oh, she's a woman, I actually think they're praising me because they think I'll do better than a man.
No, no, I don't think, do you know, if you even want to go to a filling station, you're a woman, you're queuing. I realize all the time, they will not want to go past the man who is behind you, but they feel because you're a woman, they're going to bump in front of you.
Oh, wow.
And the minute you now start to talk, they said, this lady, she looks frustrated.
Your husband don't suffer.
No, and then they will now say, I have your type at home. And everything about my country is they try to bring you down. If you're big, they will say you are big. If you're slim, they say you're slim. If you're this, they forget that it's about your intelligence. And most of the time when you want to speak, they try to bring you down. But the good thing about the Nigerian woman, they have decided 35% or not 35%, 50%. This time around, they're going to hear us and they're going to listen and they have to do it right.
Yes, I believe that Nigerian women should all come out and ensure that we do it right. We're not pushing out the men, we're not asking for the men to go. But we also know that when you train a woman, you train a nation.
Oh, true.
Whatever happens to a woman, it trickles down to the family, not just the children, even the extended family, which is how we operate.
Yeah.
So it's imperative that women come in and do the needful this time. don't allow we should not allow ourselves to be
Sorry,
edged out.
I even forgot. I wanted to say something about the home. There are so many homes that they say it's the lady that is supposed to cook, it's the lady that is supposed to clean. The mothers are training their kids to do that. It should stop. It's if you should teach your sons how to cook, you should teach your sons how to cook, like clean. There is nothing that is a woman's job. And you see, if we don't start
Men are
from
doing hairdressing now.
no, but everybody thinks hairdressing, okay, it's okay. The makeup, it's okay. But if the men can do it,
The
what?
best chefs are still men.
So that's
But
it.
I think, Joy,
Yeah.
I hate to sound contradictory here.
Yeah.
The home is basically the woman's.
You're not getting where I'm coming from. I have somebody comes to my house to stay, and the next thing he's hungry, and he's waiting for the girl to go cook. And people say it, oh, because I interact with so many kids. It's a woman's place to cook. It's a woman's place to clean. It's a woman's place to wash. Because that's the way the parents are. There's nothing wrong in a man helping his wife to cook. There's nothing wrong with a man helping his wife to clean the house.
There's nothing wrong, but those are actually gender roles.
No, we should stop it.
Well, if I may come in here, considering that I'm not like one small girl, I think in that case my parents were very, very forward thinking, I guess, because in the home I grew up in, chores were tasks, chores, whatever you want to call them, were assigned based on capacity to deliver, not based on gender.
In my home,
As a result, you would find that in our household, things that required much more strength and energy, the boy would do it. For instance, he would pound the yam, because he's still. So the young man would pound it, although culturally, from the TIF perspective, it's not a man's place to pound food, it's the girl's place. But the young man in the house was stronger than us, so my mom would get him to pound the food. And then back then, although we had blender, my mother tended to favor the grinding stone. And if I was doing it and the pepper was coming out with all the seeds intact, she'd move from that place. She would call the boy, he would come and do it. I dare say that the young man that grew up in our house was a better cook than I am today. Because he was, first of all, because he was older, he got assigned more tasks, and back then I was pretty sickly. So any contribution I was giving was for the sake of don't be sitting down when other people are
don't
working.
Be lazy.
Learn.
Yeah.
Be self-sufficient and everything. But I couldn't really apply myself as much.
Yes.
So the young man ended up doing more. So I grew up in a home where roles were not assigned based on gender.
Not all roles, perhaps. I grew up in a home like that as well. In my home, the boys pounded the yam as well. And all the menial.
In my home, I pounded the yam.
Okay, you would.
I pounded the yam.
So I grew up in a home like that, and that's how I raised my kids. In my home, I actually gave chores to all my kids. Everybody had a day to cook. It may be terrible. I will pretend to like it, but you would cook.
Yeah.
That's the home I grew up in. But it doesn't change the fact that I know my role as a female, and I think perhaps that's where I'm coming from. You see, I feel to an extent, yes, I'm supposed to be woke, but even in my wokeness, I know my role. You see, whether we like it or not, gender roles are gender roles.
When you go abroad,
Yes.
do you tell people that they have gender roles when
No,
you go abroad?
if I may come in, just to buttress what Joy is saying, I don't think, if I'm wrong, you can still correct me.
I can.
I think where Joy is coming from is when things are left unattended to.
True.
Oh,
Because now woman is supposed to do them. We're looking at a situation where, let's say for instance, you know what journalism kind of work can be like. Maybe you come to work in the morning and you're closing around 8, 9.
So
your husband is a regular civil servant. He closes and gets home maybe 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, yeah.
There are men that will sit and stay hungry, waiting for you to close from work at 9 p.m. before they will eat anything. And in many instances, it's not because they don't even know how to prepare that indomie. No. It's not because they can't bail themselves out with small bread and tea. It's to show you how, because that is your role. You must do it. And that is just cruelty.
Yeah, that's
I think that's what you're trying to say.
That's what I mean. Yes.
So I don't think culturally the home will always be, in Nigeria anyway, culturally the home is seen as the woman's turf.
Yes.
You should be in control
Yes,
of your
be in
home.
charge.
Changing the whole world.
It's in the whole world.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I think it's
The
the
woman's
same
top-
perception
yes,
everywhere.
things are
A
changing,
woman
yes.
is usually the homemaker most often,
Yes.
even though we now have house husbands.
Yes,
No, but see,
That's in
I
the
was
West.
in a friend's house and we're sleeping and the light went off. My friend stood up to go and on the gen.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it.
Why?
And the man was sleeping.
What's wrong with that?
Haba.
Well, if she was alert and he was asleep,
No, but she told me that she is the one that does all the jobs.
or everything.
Everything.
So even if
Because
he
I
had
was
been
like overstudy because
Yeah.
if I was like that too. I'll go along the jet. What's in there? I really don't see anything.
When
wrong
you
with it.
at night when you're
Perhaps-
sleeping,
Yeah.
Perhaps
if
it's,
it's sleeping, I'll go and switch on the jet.
yeah,
If it's not, if I'm
maybe
putting on
there's-
the jet, I will switch
Maybe
it on.
perhaps
Maybe
it's
there's
a question
something
of
wrong with me.
two people agreeing to.
Okay, that's another
something,
thing, true.
Which is
Yeah.
where I come, because your friend didn't see anything wrong with it, and she's probably okay with it, and then maybe there are other
And you are
ways
seeing something
the
wrong with
husband
it.
covers up for her as well. That's actually the
That's a
point I'm
partnership.
trying to get to.
Get to,
Partnership.
okay, yeah.
In Nigeria, I started by saying that we have different cultural heritage,
Very true.
different
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I always like to use this very set as an example. I am Igbo, your
Igala.
your Tiv, and your Hausa. And at the end of the day, even far beyond this set, there is a unity, there's a friendship, there's a bond between all of us.
Yeah, true.
Which is grown from this conversation set.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, in Nigeria, we are different people, and a lot of times we still try to fight against each other. We have a new government coming, and he has preached hope, he has preached unity and oneness, togetherness. So how do we go about it? We have tried to illustrate the fact that women are still the basis when it comes to training, and you said education and schooling starts from their home. How do we go about? Because I don't understand TIF, I don't understand your language, I don't understand Hausa, but I have never lacked communication with you, and we have never fought. Even when we argue, it's always sweet. How do we transfer it to the outside world to ensure that unity is instilled in Nigeria?
You see, the thing here, I've always said it, it's only politicians that just try to divide us.
Very true.
It's politicians. So if you let them do it, then you have a problem. Because in their quiet hour, they party together, they do stuff together. When the kids are marrying, the other person from the other party is the chairman of the occasion.
Exactly.
Luckily for me, so if you're smart enough, if you're wise enough, you will now know that, look, Nigeria is so diverse. I'm Migala. I grew up in the north. And one thing I was taught in school, I keep saying it, Command Kaduna. I will always love that school. Why do I say so? I was taught not to say you were a northerner. I was taught not to say your father was richer than my father. I was taught not to say I'm a Christian, I'm a this, I'm a that. They taught us to live with each other regardless of religion, regardless of where you're from, regardless of whether you're a woman or you're a man. Things those days made us who we are today. 80% of my friends are northerners. One thing I try not to bring, it's religion. Because my religion tells me I'm going to live 70 years. For the Muslim, if somebody dies, they said it is meant to be. So most of the time, I try not to bring religion. You might have voted somebody else. I try not to bring, because
Religion,
politics, because when you see people fight over politics, yes, you're obedient, you're APC, you're PDP, articulated and all that. But whether we like it or not, if we just pray that the person who comes into power does what he's meant to do. Because like I always say, if God didn't want it to happen, It will not happen. So for the person to be Christian or Muslim, and that was why I was quite impressed when I watched the vice president at the talk. He said he had to tell the CSO to stand up. He had to tell his ADC to stand up. And he said, they're Christians. This is Igbo. This is this. Because in Nigeria, everything, because one thing that really gets to me is that if they tell me I want to go to an Igbo office, I say from top to bottom it's going to be Igbo. And the minute you get there, they're a bit funny. Our mindset has to change. And I think the time is now.
You know, what you said about politics, politicians dividing us and everything is very, very true. The tragedy of democracy is that it comes with a certain level of identity politics.
Yeah.
And for us here, our own version of identity politics is not the trans thing, it's not about sexuality.
True.
For us here, it's about ethnicism, a very deep, dark, dirty type.
Agree.
Where it was when I ran for office, that was when I knew the tiny clan that I'm supposed to be. It's annoying because I wasn't raised that way. My dad just told me the village, that's all. This is your village, this is where you're from, and that was it. And in fact, even that one I used to forget, if you ask me, I say I'm from Adiko, and they'll say no. So the Adiko self, the sub one, then the inner one. Then from my husband's side, there's this one, and then the other, and it's that tiny one that constitutes about 30 people that you're supposed to identify with. Why? So and you don't want that because that's not who you are. You're this person that has Yoruba friends and Igala friends, and half of your friends are Muslims.
Yes.
3 or 4 are atheists.
Yeah.
The other ones are Pentecostal and everything. So your worldview is different. But then I knew that, for instance, if I had won, probably people would expect that my immediate PA must be somebody from my husband's village. Why? What if the person is not competent enough?
True.
What if me and that person, we don't blend?
Yes.
But you have to. So, in all honesty, in that regard, politics has not helped us. Yes. When the military were in office, I'm not saying they should come back, I'm not asking for a coup, but when you had a governor that was from a different state,
it didn't matter.
He didn't care who was
Exactly.
who that was getting which office.
Exactly.
You understand? But if you go to Benue State now, if you go to my state now, if you're not very careful, certain positions there will be an insistence must be for certain people from certain
even when they are not competent.
Why? Even when they are not competent. So how do we progress?
You know what you're saying. I made a post on the Day of Democracy, and a lot of people asked me questions. I also tried to explain. I said, loyalists are those who will be with you through thick and thin, and they will also cover your bad side and help you fall just because they have fear of man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, men of integrity are such people that will follow you and also tell you when you're going the wrong way.
Yes.
Because they have fear of God.
Yeah.
And in selecting the cabin crew at this point, for every tier of the government, it's important they pay attention to integrity than loyalty. Meaning that you shouldn't be looking for people from your religion, people from your, part of the world, because those people may just let you drown. Some have not done it well because of over loyalty. They don't call you back when you're doing the wrong thing. They sing praise you out of the stage. And let's go back to Coach Didi. You were trying to add something.
I'm coming from a totally different zone here. Maybe because of what I do, I practice person-centered therapy. I think we're so quick to blame every other person for what's wrong in this country. It's the politicians, it is politics, it is ethnicity, it is us. It's pure and simple. It is us. And thank God we're talking about emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Understanding your emotions and managing it. Understanding the emotions of others and managing it. If somebody is a politician comes to tell you this is this, hate somebody because he's not Muslim or he's not Christian, hate somebody because he's not Hausa or Igbo, why is your emotional intelligence for that sake? Why? If I say come and jump into fire, will you jump?
Will you jump? Nope.
So we keep blaming the politician. It's not the politician, it is us as a people. Because if you love yourself and you love thy neighbor, you will treat thy neighbor fairly. So no matter what anybody tells you, you will stand by what is right. Even if they're kicking and screaming, you will stand by what is right. So we are Nigerians first. That's what I believe. We are Nigerians first, Nigerians second, and Nigerians third. It doesn't matter what party. Everybody has a right to be affiliated to one party or the other.
True.
I don't have to justify it to anybody. I can judge, maybe he's a politician, I just like his face or his voice. I can like a politician for any reason, I can vote for anyone for any reason. But if you keep on holding on to people or politicians because they are from your part or this part, it's not about them, it's about you. Because nobody can make you do anything. You
See, the thing is that this is a vicious cycle. I agree. I understand where you're coming from. We must hold ourselves accountable. Yeah. But if you notice, I made an allusion to when the military went on. We had a different mindset then.
We didn't know any better.
No, we had a different.
I am saying that things were better
mindset
then because there was less religious friction
Right.
and so on.
More
Because for
why-
a Muslim state, you had a Christian governor.
And
You
we
know,
didn't
and things
notice.
like that.
Yeah.
So, and nobody noticed these
We
things because
didn't.
the person was not even from your state for you to start complaining of which one is his
Yeah.
ethnic group. So, the part I'm coming from is when it comes to personal accountability. For instance, in domestic settings, at your workplace, in small settings that directly impact you.
Yes.
Yeah. But leadership, a certain kind of leadership, there's a kind of vibe a certain leader will come with and will get the best out of people. There's a kind of vibe another leader will come with, and all that will generate will be tension and unnecessary. For instance, some people think that the best way to lead is to be so laid back that you allow people do whatever they like. That is a recipe for chaos.
Yes.
As a leader, you must lay down the rules. You must be able to control something, you know. So the leadership matters as well when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
There are people who are strong enough to be like, this is the general tide, but I won't follow it. But most people are not that strong.
Yeah.
So every wind that comes blows them.
Yeah.
So if this is what is okay, they're like water, easily molded into water. If you pour them here, they become the shape of this cup. If you pour them in their bottle, and it's also a survival mechanism.
Yeah.
People that know how to blend and flow, they survive anything. And that's why you're complaining about yes men. You know, the ones that will praise you into fire.
Yes.
They are doing it to survive.
It's survival.
It's survival. So if
I'm not even blaming the yes men.
No, but you see the funny thing.
I'm blaming the people that work with them.
I just realized that
That's what they
because
want to hear.
lately,
that's what they want to hear.
lately I've been watching TV. Hello, you
Hi.
people were here for 8 years. You have come again. So you see, and I'm seeing them. They're all over the place. They're all over the place.
But they're the politicians.
No. They decided that they want to be there again. That, you see, because they don't know any better. This is all they know. And you see the funny thing, now we have to change things. Things have to move forward. So right now, like they say, the kingmaker has become the king. So I am expecting things will be done differently.
A lot has to be done differently. But I want to tell you what you said. That it's not all about the government, it's not all about
people.
them, but
Us.
more about us. Now, speaking about us, I still want to go down to what we all agree that, it starts from the home. And the home is still the forte of the woman when it comes to control.
Yes.
What are we going to be doing right henceforth to ensure that we, change the mindset of our children to be perhaps like the mindset of what we had during the times you've described in the past? Because I want to believe that if a parent consistently tells a child something, the child begins to see it as a guiding principle in life. So if my parents tell me consistently, you are a Nigerian, it doesn't matter where you go to, feel at home. I knew when my kids were quite small, I had a very tiny car, I'll put them in the car. And then we drive all over Nigeria. Wherever we get to, we park, rest, sleep in a hotel. The next day we continue. There was no fear. We get to a place. I remember I got to Okene at a point, and then I needed a help somewhere. I couldn't communicate to the women, and I wished I knew how to do sign language, but somehow they were able to understand what I said, and they still assisted us for whatever we needed at the time. What are we going? I'm not sure I want to do that now because a lot of
can't
people,
do
if I
that.
can't speak the language, they'll instantly know I'm a visitor, and anything
Anything
can
can
happen to
happen.
me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want us to get back to that, and I still want to believe the job starts from the home. It's not starting from Mr. President or his allies. You know, what are we going to be talking to our children about? Let's take it down home.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I remember when my son was 7. He told me our little neighbor was going to hell. I honestly, I'm telling you this because as you said it came back. I was dumbfounded.
Hell.
Yes.
That's huge.
I thought for a 7-year-old child, you had no business
Business.
knowing who was going to hell or
Heaven or heaven.
I was worried. I went to an Islamic school as a child. Then I went to a DDC University, just like your own school. Honestly, it was a cost. You know a DDC then?
Yes.
I didn't. My best friend was for Tubere,
I know.
Tolu. You know,
Things were
and
different.
things were different. I never even had to worry about where they were from or whether they were going to hell or heaven.
Do you even know where they're from? The basic is that
I
you're
told
talking.
myself, look, I don't want to raise a child who, when he sees people, is deciding whether they are going to hell or heaven.
Or heaven.
And I remember I told him, how do you know he's going to hell? And he said, because he's not Muslim. And I said, okay. So do you think you're going to hell or paradise? He said, he's going to paradise. I said, do you know it's your actions that will take you to hell or paradise?
It's not the religion.
And I realized at that point, perhaps unconsciously, I had not exposed my child to the secular country we're in. And I felt it was on me. And it was my job to make sure my child understood that he could have friends everywhere.
Yeah.
And I changed my child's school.
Yes.
And I took him to a secular school
Very good.
where his best friend became Yodu
Very good.
and then Jerry. And I remember I told my son something. I said, look, I need you to understand that people are people.
Yeah.
I want you to be friends with people not because of where they worship or where they are from, but because of this. And I did this. Their heart, the kind of people they are. Good people. Judge a person by his character, not by his deen and not by his ethnicity.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was so. I shared. I never knew this conversation would come, but even when I speak about it, I just feel it because I was so afraid that
At
I would raise
7?
a child
At 7.
at that age.
Yeah.
But you see, this is the thing about society. But over time, in that same new school, I took my child. There was a parent who didn't want my son to be friends with him. So you see, it's not a cultural thing. It's not a religion, it's a people thing.
As a people.
My child borrowed him a book, and then the parent came to the school.
I saw the name.
And he said all these demonic things. It was a normal book, scholastic book about amphibians. You know, my children love werewolf. All this the stories about werewolf. You know, almost changing to a man.
I get it.
That it was demonic.
Uh-huh.
You understand? But and that's I didn't take it personal
Yeah.
because you see, people think a certain way because of their upbringing, environment, and significant emotional events that have happened to them.
You see what you said? Let me buttress what you said. When I was growing up, I was Equa, and I had friends who were Catholic. We're all Christians. When you want to go to hell or heaven, the question is, are you Catholic or are you Protestant? It's not going to come up. And some of my friends' parents didn't want their kids to be my friends because I was Equa.
Wow.
When I was growing up. And I didn't understand. But now, I just realize it's worse. A Catholic is condemning me because I'm Protestant. And we're all Christians. And you see, most of these things, it just didn't happen. Most of this thing is from the home. And this is why I say that, unfortunately for us again, the social media has taken over our kids. So most of the time you can't really blame parents as well. I'm telling you, because do you know when a parent talks, the kids say that's not what Google said. That's not what Google says.
That's a good one.
So you see, most of the time now it's the parents really don't even have time to train their kids. They're working. But you see, my advice for parents, especially mothers, it's what you teach your children. It's what they see in that environment. That is what they're going to do outside. Many men who beat their wives saw their fathers beating their mothers because a friend told me something. Why is my wife complaining all over the place? My mother didn't die. So he will keep beating his wife.
But I always think that if something happened,
Yeah.
how did that friend,
Yeah.
take it when he saw his mother being beaten?
He was just okay.
If something happens to me and I don't like it,
Yeah.
growing up, when
Yeah.
I grow up, I don't want to do the same to
No, he
everybody.
doesn't think that is wrong.
Hang on, let me tell you something that I experienced. I recall a guy I knew who told me how his mother, because he happened to mention that his parents were not together. So one day I just had the audacity to ask why. And he said, well, what happened was that his dad was the wife beating type. And that he recalls the father would go out, get drunk, come home and do that. And that he recalled vividly the night his mother moved out of, she had been enduring it for years. But the night the mother
Moved out.
resolved to move out, this man beat her so bad that she lost control of her bowels.
Wow.
I don't want to use.
I know.
So she soiled herself. It was that bad, the beating was. And so she moved out. But this same person would sit down and talk about how if you want a woman to love you, you beat her regularly.
Baggers.
It doesn't make sense.
It's the mind.
It doesn't make sense
It's
because
the mind.
he
Yes.
saw his mother
That's the power
move
of- yes.
out of harm's way.
But
Let me
Not
tell
because
you
she wasn't
something.
even wealthy enough. She didn't have money.
But
She
she did.
moved from there into, he wasn't rich and she moved into worse conditions. But this same person's philosophy is, if you want a woman to really love you, beat her regularly.
he learned.
How does
That's
that
what I
work?
said.
That's how the mind works.
How
That's
does
how
that
the-
work?
See, I'm
No,
sure
He got used to it.
Yes.
Children that saw that he
Yes.
hated his father for it.
Yes.
And maybe at that time he vowed, I will never
Never.
hit a woman. But you see the power of the subconscious mind.
Yes.
That is how the patterning works.
Yeah.
Over years, he has seen it as a way to put things in order and keep things under control.
True.
He may unlearn it.
And say he's in charge.
Yes, I know he may unlearn it and try
Yeah.
not to do it. But
But-
his default will be to beat somebody to
That's
order.
it.
That's how the mind works. You have to unlearn
It's,
it.
it's crazy, and I think we parents need to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And the part where my emotional intelligence kicks in was the day he said that I came this close to saying, that's why your mom stuck around to keep loving your dad. But I didn't say it. That's emotional intelligence.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Emotional
That's a good
intelligence
one.
also entails that we parents, parenting, for me, it's beyond your biological children. If you're in
True.
a workplace,
Yes.
you must make sure that the children or the people, the adults who are under you, you leave good, positive taste in their mouth. It doesn't always have to be nice on their own side, but when they get back and relax and look at your dealings with them,
You
have
must
been
mold
impacted.
them.
You're a role
You must
model.
mold them.
You don't
You're a
As
role
long as
model.
you don't do
You
it in a
have to
cruel
mold
way.
kids.
You
Like
have
punch.
to.
Yes.
You
They see
yourself.
you.
They
Yes.
see
That's
you.
you.
That's why I said.
See, when you hear kids say certain things,
Yeah,
don't go
it's-
far.
yes.
From the home.
You need
It's
to.
from
It
the
may not be the
home.
parent, but it's somebody in the home. They have
That-
to do
yes.
it every
Yes.
day for them to imbibe it.
Exactly.
So we have to be.
So
the
you
role
have
model.
to be the
Yes,
role
be
model.
what you want your kids
Be
to
a
be.
role
to
model.
be.
Okay, so
Very
let's pay tribute to all our friends outside. This very first one is a very long one, but let's see what we can do. It says, "Good morning, beautiful people. My name is Lawa from Lokoja. Joy upon her should be advised properly. If she's a Christian, she should read the book of Proverbs about the role of virtuous woman. Cooking is keeping the house. Keeping the house is for woman. Okay, there are some rules that God designed for women, and you cannot come and see that because they went to school, they should think. All right, I think we got
I
it
think
all
he
wrong.
misunderstood.
You see, he
Yeah,
misunderstood
so-
what
And
I
we
was talking
corrected
about.
it at the
Yes.
at the long run.
Oh my God.
No human remains all. Okay, and I can't exactly read this, but you could help me read it.
No human makes all. Allah Rahman Rahim. Lead and destroy.
Okay, what does that mean?
That is great, but no human remains all. Lead and destroy. I don't
understand.
Okay. All right. So what Didi said exactly answered the topic of the discussion. Whatever said by anybody stays with the right. Stay with the right thing. That's coming from Ibrahim Hama Nisau. And let's take one more before we begin to think of rounding up. How do we go about some men that tend to look down on their wives because she is not intelligent as he is, but he is not ready to build her up to be the woman he wants her to be, but always comparing
How with others. Very bad.
Anyway, that man has a complex problem.
There's so many like
and,
that.
And would not want you to grow because he sees you as one person to look up to and feel, okay, at least I'm better than somebody. And how to go about it is quite simple. I don't know if I'm wrong, but for me, if you are recognized that the man puts you down, try and step up.
Yes.
Because
you see, the thing is
it's not easy though.
The thing is this, there's this saying that if you judge, I can't remember it specifically, but if you judge a chicken by a monkey standards, the chicken will always lose out. This woman that maybe is not intellectually so sound might be somebody who is extremely emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Might be the kind of person who, when it comes to keeping house, you can't come near her.
Yeah.
Might be the kind of person who, when it comes to operations and logistics, which is what homekeeping is all about, you can't floor her.
Yeah.
But this person is more focused on the fact that she doesn't speak Queen's English. She cannot enunciate probably the way I do, and so on and so forth. Why not judge people based on what their strengths are, and then manage what is not?
Agree.
Or because you're not all that yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. Nobody's
all that.
When you talk about that, I'm like, I look at a lot into our Chinese brothers. A lot of them, when they come in here, they can't say what we say. They can't communicate the much they communicate.
But they deliver.
They deliver. so you're looking at them and you're like, this person cannot talk well.
Yeah,
this
but they deliver.
They just give it to you.
What I advise people is hold on to your strength. Hold on to your strength and do better with it.
And if you still want to keep the man, perhaps you may want to look at the people he's comparing with and see if you can brace up. Otherwise, feel good on the inside. Like Coach Didi's vow taking, he said
the affirmation.
The affirmation. Can you repeat that for us?
Like basically, it's so long.
Okay. Love yourself,
honor yourself.
Take direction.
Yes, financially,
and then keep yourself well.
Yes.
Take care of your mind and grow financially, spiritually, mentally.
That's the work woman. Meanwhile, let's take more. Nigeria's problem is the leaders. When the head is wrong, the whole body is affected. That's from Prince Chigozie Nadi. Thank you very much. You didn't tell us where you're writing from, but I know that having said that, I'll quickly see if we can take our goodbyes briefly. I want us to set agenda for the women, not government. I don't like to set agenda for government. Let's set agenda for the women on how to succeed in the new dispensation we just stepped in.
For me, I always say that I like to look for women who are stronger and better than me. I want to learn. So I would rather hang around people like that to step up, because if you follow people who are always below you, you'll never get better than how you are.
Okay.
Mutual respect is good. We need to learn to be friends. We need to, like Okanachi said, if there's a woman doing better than you and she's willing to have you in her mix, learn from her.
Yeah. All right.
I would simply say, stop waiting to be given. Learn to take charge and take it.
Waiting
for them to give us 35%.
It won't happen.
It will never happen.
We have to take.
We should rally around and stand for ourselves.
Okay, sorry. Guess what? We should stop competing. It is so important.
She's trying to give me the watch.
We should stop competing. Women should try and grow women.
It's really important. And in growing women, I always say that it's a balanced thing, because the word women, if you look at it, there is men inside. So we should grow the women as much as we grow the men. And in growing, it's not just the people outside or when they're already grown up. I think we should pay attention to the home, because whatever the family is the smallest unit of the society, and what we chunk into the children is what the society will get to reflect when they grow up. If you want a better Nigeria tomorrow, you need to start today. In fact, you should have actually started yesterday to ensure that the children turn out the way we want them to be. De-tribalize our children, deactivate the religious sector and quarrels in our children. Let them have a broad mind. Let them think about something great. Let the children understand that they can actually single-handedly or collectively cause a positive change. So that way, when these acts are activated fully into them, they can bring us the better Nigeria we are looking for. I don't know how many people are still going to say, no, I don't know, I don't know. There are so many messages coming. Director, with your permission, just two more. Let's see what we can take. Okay, thank you very much. I really love the conversation, especially from my dear friend from Benin. Okay, all of us are from Benin. Can you consider the topic emotional maturity? Today, you and the panel are emotionally intelligent. Okay, thank you very much. Even though you didn't write your name, but we thank you for saying that. And good morning. I love this program. I asked my son of 10 years to clean the room, and he said, do I always ask him to clean the room? That he's a man, that his father is not doing it. Had to sit him down and talk to him. My dear fellow mother, you did well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And the last of them here, mom is truly a mom. I like the way you analyze it, that more. Adedu from Lagos. Thank you very much. I can't go beyond this before I get fired on my director. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.